Hello, everybody. It's me, Jen Kober, coming to you live from Los Angeles. We are here for another fantastic episode of my podcast, Bitchin' Over Biscuits, where we eat biscuits while tackling a different genre of podcast every week with our surprise celebrity guest. This week, our guest is a fantastically funny lady. She and I have literally toured the world together. She is one of my favorite comedians on the planet. Not only on stage is she amazing, she is one of my favorite people. She makes me laugh. She makes me cry. We had a wonderful time every time we are together. Put your hands together, please, everyone, for the lovely and talented Jennie Mcnulty.
That was such a lovely intro. I wasn't sure it was me.
It absolutely was you. There are very few, and they're really the ones that I've had on this show. There are very few comedians that I like as people.
True.
Well,
Right?
we are
Like-
bitchy, you know.
I think it's one thing for me to think you're funny, but it's another thing for me to like want to hang with you or want to travel with you or want to have a real conversation with you. And you and I had never really, we'd seen each other performing around and whatever, but never really got to spend any time together until we started doing Olivia trips.
Yeah.
And then we got to really, be each other's friends. Because when you're a headliner, you don't get to meet other headliners.
No. That's the good thing about Provincetown when you go down like to Women's Week. It's the same sort of a thing where you have like all these female comics are all there. So you're basically just hanging with your friends for a week. It's really super fun. Have you done Provincetown?
I have not done Women's Week. I've done Provincetown.
But not Women's
never
Week,
when
yeah.
the ladies are there. I don't know how I'm getting the short end of this stick, but I need to call my agent and be like,
You do.
Bitch, what are you doing?
You know what? I'm gonna have a Southern accent by the end of this damn interview, ain't I? Just like hanging out with Vicky Shaw. You just start to say shit like I'm fixing to do
talking
things.
like her. I know. I totally get it. We are joined, of course, as always, by my partner in crime, the yin to my yang, the grounding force to my hot air balloon. It is Mr. Fact Checker himself, Mike Brignott.
Hey, so happy to be here. So excited, Jennie, that you're with us today.
Thank you very much, Bob. I'm happy to be here. Truly happy to be here.
Did she just call you Bob?
She called me Bob. I'll go by Bob. It's Mike, though.
Well, what is your name? Oh, it's Mike. It said,
Mike.
oh, no, okay.
Bob is
it
bitching
says-
over biscuits.
See, it's bitching over biscuits. We
Yes,
get asked
so
that
my
a lot.
title
People
thing-
really want there to be a Bob. When we do book a Bob on this show, it's going to be like a fucking celebration. People are going to have
Bob and
parades
Bob.
and shit. People really want there to be a Bob on this, and that's just us. Because sometimes when you put the word bitchin' on social media, some crazy
okay.
Christian who's trying to rid the world of me will be like, that word is not allowed, right? So I get some
Right.
terms of service bullshit. So we just post it as the BOB podcast, and we capitalize BOB so people know it's bitching over biscuits. But there really was a Bob podcast.
you know what?
It's so stupid.
I did what everyone does, just read the headline and I saw Bob and I assumed it was Bob. And I'm a little vain, so I don't have my glasses on right now, so I can't
Girl,
see that.
I
I'm
have
sure
to-
his little name right in his little Zoom box probably fucking says Mike, but I can't see that.
I cannot at all do these anymore without my glasses.
Oh.
I kept trying. I was being so vain about it. And then I was like, finally, like, I really do need to see the stuff. I have little cue cards and things. I need to see stuff. People are just going to have to deal with the fact that I am 35 and I require readers.
There you go. There you go.
Please.
I am way older than that, so
Is this
So
my
am I.
fact
still
check?
vain too.
So
I'm
am
not-
I.
this
So when
is
I
all-
fact check about it.
This is L'Oreal number 5 because I'm worth it, because I would be total gray without that. In fact, usually when I quit drinking for any period of time, it's only because I'm starting to get a little beer belly, better quit drinking. It's not the alcoholism, it's not remembering the evening, it's vanity that keeps me from being a full-blown alcoholic.
Look, we all have our thing. We do.
That's right. That's
We all
right.
have our thing. And as you know, Mike and Jennie, the star of our podcast is, of course, biscuits. It's
All right.
biscuits, no doubt. And this week I'm in California, and so and Brooke doesn't get here till tomorrow.
Oh
So
no.
my lady usually makes biscuits for me.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of spoiled. But she's
Wow.
not here till tomorrow, so I had to go a little rogue today. So I got empanadas,
Oh.
but
Ah.
it gets better. This empanada is a biscuits and gravy empanada.
No. What?
Biscuits and
Oh.
gravy empanada. Is that the greatest?
Mm.
I love California. Oh, if
You
don't
just
they'll make
messed.
anything into a meat pie.
That's yeah, like a Natchitoches meat pie.
Oh,
Oh man, this is real freaking good.
That looks so
Mike, what kind
good.
of biscuit you working with?
I went to my parents today, and he's always making biscuits. So I've got one of his biscuits with
wow.
strawberry preserves as usual.
So good, so good. Jenny, what are you working with over there?
Well, now here's the thing. As you know, as you've liked to make fun of me for, I am one of those plant-based people. So biscuits have a
Yes.
lot of butter and stuff in them, so I can't have the biscuits. So I went with the garlic naan from Trader Joe's, only it's
Ooh.
no longer called garlic naan like it used to be because apparently somebody must have complained because now it is called Indian style flatbread because
Oh,
I guess
was
it
it
wasn't naan
appropriation?
enough.
Cultural
So I'm
appropriation?
having an Indian style flatbread and then some crunchy chili onion hummus to
Ooh.
dip that
Oh,
in, which is
that
pretty
is
delicious.
that is very on brand for you, Miss
Yeah.
Plant Based.
I know. And do you know Shankar, the comedian Shankar?
I do.
She's hilarious and she's Lebanese and she calls my flavored red roasted hummus, roasted pepper hummus. She calls that white
Uh-huh.
girl hummus.
White girl hummus.
White girl hummus.
Oh
Hummus
my
is
God.
apparently just supposed to be the chickpeas and the garlic, and don't fuck it up any more than that.
Oh,
Look, my mother is Greek,
that.
and they are very purist about the things that they write, the hummus, the baba ganoush, the this, the that.
Yep.
I'm like, look, I just hand me some sort of bread. It can be Indian, it can be naan, it can be some, it can be
Yep.
uh phyllo dough. I mean, I don't care what it is. Let's sop this stuff up.
Yum. I love
So
bread.
thank you. Today we are talking about the paranormal. The
Ooh.
ghosts, the things that linger in the ethers. And I have to say that I was not I didn't ever I've never liked anything scary. Anything scary has never been in my wheelhouse. Those movies upset me.
Mhm.
I don't, it's not even, some people are like, I watch them like this. I don't even do that. I don't put them in the fucking machine. I don't click on them on the streaming service. I never have, and I never will. I can scare myself. I don't need some creepy guy who wrote a script that's shit I couldn't even think of to put that in my head.
Okay, but
Mhm.
wait, what if you took the soundtrack out? Because it's usually the score that scares the shit out of you, and put like a Disney soundtrack behind there.
I
So while people
feel
are getting their
like,
heads bludgeoned off, it would be like little fairy noises.
I mean, I feel like that might mess me up even further because I feel like I'm already tortured by like It's a Small World. And so
Oh yeah.
I feel like that would even be like I'm trying to imagine like that scene where the guy is strung up in Silence of the Lambs with like it's a small world, right? Like it's
That
all
poor guy. He's getting made fun of his stick size for the last.
it's just a lot. And so I feel like either way, it would scare me. So I don't even put them on. Soundtrack, no soundtrack, volume, no volume. I do not put that stuff in front of my eyes.
Okay.
So people would always be like, well, do you believe in ghosts? I'd be like, I don't know. I've never really had an interaction with a ghost. And then someone close to me died. And this bitch kept showing up everywhere.
Ooh. Like how? In
I
in what ways did she show up?
She showed up as a bird a lot on on my ledge, a bird that had never been there until she passed away, and it was a hummingbird. And she was always, one of those light, spazzy, like it totally made sense. There was a balloon in my house that kept following me around from a party that she had been. Just a lot of. I felt like she kept showing up. Her last name was Strong, and I would see the word Strong just all over the billboards. A truck would get in front of me and it would say Strong. Like it was just a lot of her, and so that's kind of what got me on a journey of. I'm sure there could be communication between perhaps the levels of consciousness, whatever. But paranormal activity, like the idea that these spirits and such are sort of enacting revenge or are somehow still in the conversation, even though they're not on the physical plane, seems tiresome, blasé. Like, why would you do that?
Okay,
Like,
here's the thing. I don't know. Now, this isn't a scary movie.
Ed, you're done with this level. Move on.
No, but for instance, my father passed away on September 1st of '07, and I was in P-Town for the summer in '08. And what I wanted, I was flyering, and then meditating on the beach for a minute. And then when I got up, I thought, oh, this is the year anniversary of his death. I should get, because P-Town doesn't really have shells, I should get a really pretty rock to kind of symbolize the day. And about within 3 minutes, I found a watch, and my dad was a watchmaker. So, like, stuff like that to me
Yeah.
feels like him saying hi. And there's a movie called His Dark Materials. I believe it was
Oh,
based on
yes.
children's books. And if you see that movie, it's not scary, but in the movie, the people that they're like in a purgatory thing, and then they get their spirits get released. And the way they show that in the film is like it's all like not black and white, but pretty very gray. And then they sort of step over into this plane, and as they step, everything just turns into these like crystal, like dust material stuff, right? And to
Nice.
me, that makes the most sense of the afterlife. Like when you go, the essence of your spirit, whether it's physical particles or particles we can't see, but I think like kind of clumps of it hang around for a little bit if you need it. Like my dad, I needed my dad around, so a little bit of him kind of hung out for a while and watched, and it's just, to me, that makes way more sense than heaven and hell and God and everything. So as far as paranormal goes, like anybody that needs a sign, hey, puts up a sign like, hey, I'm a psychic. I'm like, okay, that to me is a little fishy. But just I believe that we can't explain certain things. And to think that, like we don't get it. So to me, there is something there. But the ones where they're trying to like, get you to move things or whatever, I don't know about those. I think that's kind of.
Yeah, I think that I mean, you're right that there's sort of a difference in it. Mike, where do you fall on the paranormal
Oh, well,
spectrum?
it, this is all my personal experience, these worlds within worlds, and we think someone dies and they're not really dead. They're just not here anymore. And I know this sounds
Ah,
crazy, but since I was a child and it scared me when I was a kid, I always have a visit from a relative after they pass. It has never failed. Every time they pass,
wow.
I know I will see them not long after. I had an uncle. I had this experience where I was in my grandparents' house, and they had both passed already, but I was there and I didn't understand why. And I walked into the kitchen, and they
This
were
isn't a
all my
dream.
not a dream. I was in a meditative state, just kind of
Okay.
chilling on the bed, and I these are all ancestors that had passed, my great grandparents and my grandparents, but they're all young, like late 20s, early 30s. And they're in the kitchen having coffee and they're laughing. And I walk in and they stop and look at me. And my great grandfather said, Michael, you're not supposed to be here. And I was like, you're not supposed to be here. I didn't understand what was going on. And so they just ignored me and I walked back out. And as I walked out the front door, my Uncle Frank drove up in his big Cadillac, and he hops out, and I said, Uncle Frank, you're not supposed to be here, because I was understanding at that point what was happening. And he just smiled and went into the house. 2 weeks later, I was at his funeral.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm 100% believer, but it's not, I don't believe in evil spirits. It's all love, and it seems
Yeah.
scary
Yeah.
because that's the way we're trained, but there's worlds within worlds, and it's unending, and we don't really die. We just shed a body here, but we're somewhere else, and you can tap into that. You can see these people.
Yeah. I want to believe that. I want to believe that it's not we're all just worm meat. That's to me, honestly, is the most logical thing. But
Does
um,
now does paranormal though also apply to like alien shit?
I think so.
You
Because
can?
I
I
feel
don't know.
like what I have been thinking about the most lately is right when your head is full of like, God, the planet is so fucked up. How did we get here? What's really like the source? Where did this? Who started the fire? And now we're off to the races. And in thinking that, you have to think we're a speck on a planet that is hurling in a something that is so big and so vast. There have got to be other intelligent life forms. There have got to
Oh,
be
yes.
something somewhere else, and now we're finding out that they have proof of those things, right? And all this. So if that's true, if there is, if life is life is life is life, that really gets me thinking about all of these sort of alien encounters and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. People that swear they've seen things and what they describe is very. What if what they are seeing aren't necessarily people from another planet? They're people on another plane,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
on a different, right? Because they all seem to be these very hollow-eyed forms,
Yeah.
but nobody can really see a face or a thing, and so when those things happen, I often wonder if that's what that is, that the vastness of the universe is not only vast in its physicality, but also in its right. What was that one where the guy was it Interstellar? Where there's like a
Code for?
bandwidth, right? And you're seeing in the beginning of it, he's hearing something, and
Oh,
then he's inside of it, and he's making the noise,
yes. That's
right? Like it's
Interstellar with Matthew
is
McConaughey.
that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so you watch stuff like that, or even something like Inception, right? Where it's the dream within the dream, and they're controlling the
Yeah.
dreams of right, like that these levels of consciousness are spherical, right? There's all this stuff going on between live and dead. There's all kind of shit going on between, our world and other worlds and levels of consciousness within those worlds. It's a sphere like anything else. It's coming at us from all of the different ways, and
Yeah.
I believe that is what's going to keep me up tonight.
This is a dream right now. How do you know you're not dreaming right now?
I
Yeah.
know.
How do you know you didn't die at birth and you're just imagining this whole life?
Right.
The
This is the
No.
Matrix
moment you're
makes sense to
dying.
me too.
Yes.
We're all
Oh,
just
yeah.
plugged into some machine. The line in the Matrix, where that guy, I can't think of what his name is, but he's in everything. And he's like, he's eating a steak and he goes, I know I'm not really eating this steak right now. It's just this program, but it tastes pretty good. And I'm thinking, I can see, especially
Yeah.
people that are super downtrodden in the earth right now who said, hey, here's a little chip. Go ahead. We're going to just suck the juice out of you
Yeah.
for a while, but you
Look,
get to live in fantasy. I think some people would take that.
I think they
I
would.
think it's true. Jim Jeffries does an amazing joke about it in his special. He says, I think I'm standing on a stage telling you jokes, but there's a very good chance that I am standing in front of a wall in a nightgown in a mental ward going, blah, 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 blah. Who fucking
Exactly.
knows? Who knows? And I've never felt another comedian's like, oh god damn, I
Yeah.
got that one. Like it's
Yeah.
fuck, that could be what we're all doing. And it's
Uh-huh.
so it's
So if we ever
I,
have a bad show, we just need to stand in front of a different mirror.
I think that is probably the answer.
My
I
mom
mean,
is seeing, my mom is living with me now. She's 96 and for the most part, really great. Late at night, she gets sundowners where, and so she's
uh-huh.
talking to my dad and my aunt and all these people that have passed. And Sheila's like, well, maybe she's not, maybe who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe she's seeing them on some plane. I'm like, that
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah. I don't, and even if it's just the plane that is in her mind, you know what I mean?
Right.
Even if
Yeah.
who cares? Like I think there's something to be said for getting to cultivate, and I'm sure living with your 96-year-old mother is just killing it for your material. I mean,
Well, I am getting a whole new set, that's for sure.
yeah, I mean,
I'm
how can you not?
going broke on pot sales, but I've been stoned for 9 straight months.
That's
Kidding.
now does your 96-year-old mom get stoned?
No,
Never.
I should do that though. Just give her a
Not
little
even a
heavy.
gummy at night, like here, mom, just I'm gonna put on the Family Feud and you just eat this little tiny square.
Match Game. She's watching Match Game 74.
Oh, that's the best one.
Gene Rayburn with his long, skinny
Yeah.
mic.
Oh my God, that is my favorite. If you had to ask me, I don't ever tell that to people because it shows my age. But their Match Game 78 is like my favorite. I watch it on reruns. It would
Hmm.
come on the PBS channel here in LA. It would be the Dick Cavett show
Oh,
and then Match Game 78. So it was like these two shows that and I mean the people that were on one day on Dick Cavett on the same show. It was Janis Joplin and the woman that played Lois Lane,
Margot Kidder.
Margot Kidder, on the same show. They were just the people who
Wow.
his guests were. You're like, what is happening right now? It's just, and Dick Cavett has such a great voice and is such a calm
hmm.
little dry witty
Mhm.
thing. It was I'm turning into my mother. They don't make TV shows like that
Yeah, they don't.
anymore. They don't.
They don't.
Why am I this person? But it's so true. I
Yeah, well,
feel like as Gen Xers, we got the best. Like
We did.
the there we had a childhood. We are the last kids to have a childhood without cell phones,
right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
right? I mean, we got them as adults and certainly we're addicted to them now, but we had a childhood without that. If you wanted to start a rumor about somebody in school, you had to do that the old fashioned way and tell somebody, right? Make sure other people told other people. And you know what I mean? I mean, I guess if you wanted to pass around a bad picture or something, you could go to that ditto machine and crank that son of a bitch up, right? Get high off some fumes while you're in
Oh, that
there,
smells good.
pass out pictures or something but who the fuck, nobody did that. You had to talk your talk, right? You had to be a gossip, right? That
Mhm.
was so, and there was no picture proof of anything happening. Nobody could pull up receipts. There was no, you said you could tear up a note. You can't get rid of a text. You know what I mean? I could eat your fucking note. I could eat the words I just said. It was such a simpler time. This technology is
Everyone
going to
thinks that.
be what
Everyone
takes
does, but
us
it's
on.
true. I mean, it's we with all this technology, we're just going so fast. We as human beings aren't evolving as quickly as our technology, and it's
Well,
Oh,
causing some
yeah.
issues.
and because I think that's also why I get so scared of paranormal things and don't really want to think about them is because I have so much more access to them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They weren't they throughout history they haven't been worried about what's on other planets. They had shit here to worry about. And now because I feel like shit here is so fucked up, it's like, is there another place maybe we could go? You know what I mean? Just what are our choices here?
The
What
aliens
are
are not. they're not coming. I mean, the fact that we call ourselves intelligent life probably makes them laugh. We have to
Of
write, don't
course
spill
it
your
does.
coffee on your crotch because it's hot. What
Let me
aliens
tell
are
you
going to
something.
bother coming to us?
Jeff Cesario, do you know him?
I do.
Comedian. Great fucking guy. But he had a joke that I heard in like 1985, and it is the joke that made me want to do comedy. And this was the joke. He said, human beings are the biggest morons on the planet. We need ropes to keep us in line at the movies. There are birds that can fly in a V and all take a left at the same time. You
That's
know, like
normal.
we need ropes to keep us in line at the movies. We're idiots. There are instructions on a bottle of shampoo.
Hmm.
Right.
Right? They have to show. I have sat next to. I always thought to myself, who is this seatbelt instruction for on an airplane? And I've sat next to three people, different people on different flights in my lifetime who have been like, I can't get the seatbelt. I'm like, it goes in the slot. What's the A and the B, ma'am? You have children here with you on the plane. You can clearly get something inside of something else. Can we work on the seatbelt? Right? And then, well, I don't know how to get it off. Oh my God, then you deserve to fucking sit there all day. That's how I feel.
Have you, speaking of the paranormal again, have you ever watched the show Ancient Aliens?
No.
No.
You would like that. It's not scary. It is looking at aliens as reasonings for things that have happened. Like, how could they have built the pyramids? They were so big and it wasn't the same material. And how could those people have carried them and moved
Didn't
them?
you think that the whole time you and I went to Portugal together to
Yes.
perform? That was my first. I'd never been to Portugal, and I'd been to Spain and whatever, but I was with the gay boys and we didn't spend a lot of time in the city. We were at like discotheques and stuff. So to see that architecture, to see those churches, to see that window work, that knowing that they didn't have cranes and tractors and
Hmm.
weren't you like, what the how? That's
Yeah.
all I could think was how?
Hmm.
How?
A lot of slave labor, but some of it still seems impossible. Some of it seems like,
Yeah, it just seems
Yeah.
physically in the world of physics.
right.
How people without these things could make something that tall, that
Yeah.
was shit on the ceiling, that intricate, that little, that I mean, it's breathtakingly beautiful.
Hmm.
And they didn't have any fucking technology.
Yeah.
And then you
Right.
look at something like the pyramids in Egypt, go fuck yourself. It's 1,000,000 degrees.
Right.
How did
Yeah.
they do that?
All right. You should watch Ancient Aliens. You'd like it. Watch or like now they're into like season 20, so now they're kind of really stretching
Oh,
shit.
wow.
But like
Okay.
the first few seasons were really I really liked it. It was really like interesting
Glee
things.
did the
Yeah, how
same
did that
thing.
happen? Hey, who
Glee.
knows? I don't know. But I think there's something to it. The ones that make me not believe are the ones that sort of advertise it. You know what I mean? But like I
I
believe
get
it's got to happen. There's got to be some sort of connection.
uh,
I
it's
hope.
the paranormal stuff always. I mean, even things like the what's the one with little girls in the TV?
Poltergeist.
The thing? No,
Poltergeist. Yeah, like
Poltergeist, right? Yeah.
I never
I mean,
understood the premise of these movies. Like, okay, you're telling me that there's a house built on a place where there's a dead Indian burial ground.
Mhm.
Okay, like think about what we did to Indians. I want, but all. Let's just wait a minute. We can all get that. Okay, I think they're all the dead ones are probably pretty pissed off. I think we can all agree on that. We didn't come over and just like rent from them. We were mean about it. And if there's a burial ground and you built a house on it, that was a fucking dumb move.
Mhm.
Ezekiel, you dumb fuck. What'd you do? You built your house on the Indians? Are you fucking stupid? I
mhm.
mean, I think one thing we can all agree about Indians is they are a powerful people with a very spiritual force
Yeah.
behind them. And I would not go building right on top of a look. If it was a Jewish burial ground, build.
Yeah.
What are they going to be? Even if they start
Oy vey.
contacting you, they could be like, they never answer. All we do is call. They never answer. Nobody ever picks up. Nobody's listening, right? Like it would be over. But you can't. So you do that, and then you think your little girl's in the TV, and you think you're gonna just get the fuck out of the house, leave the 6-year-old.
Right.
You
See ya.
lost her to the channel. She now lives in the TV. Go get the fuck out. Move. You don't live there anymore.
Right.
I mean, if a ghost? Are you kidding me? If anything inside my house made contact with me on that level, I would burn that fucking house. I've had spiders in my house that I was ready to torch this whole fucking place for. I'm like, oh my god, that thing has eyes. It's looking at me. I had one
But
of them
what
like go up to me, like with two of its. I was like, what is fucking happening? Am I about to jujitsu fight a spider? What is happening? I will burn this whole fucking place down if that's what has to happen. So I don't
but
know
what
how you. So the premise of those sort of paranormal movies and these people that come in and think they're gonna reverse the paranormal with crosses and prayers and garlic and shit. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I don't
Has that
believe in
ever
that. I
worked?
don't I don't believe that. No, that's
I
ridiculous.
don't think so, but I don't know.
I mean,
That's
it does. Even in the movies, that's not what works.
no,
Yeah,
it's the
but we
faith,
maybe
the
we're
faith that
not
works.
waiting long enough for those ghosts to give us the real message, you know? Maybe they're not trying to
Ah,
scare us. Maybe they're just trying to help us.
I think
You're
so.
telling us that the
There's no
problem
scary
is
ghosts.
we are not understanding of the paranormal.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean,
Maybe we
it's a
just don't know.
communication problem. I think I can buy that for $1. You know what I mean? If we're
They're
not
not
even on
listening.
the same conscious plane, it might be hard to,
Well, look
right,
how
to
hard it is
connect.
to connect with people face to face. We end up,
That's
you
true.
know,
Yeah.
we're looking right now. Oh, who are they voting for? And you're just ready to fucking fight instead of
Yeah,
getting to know that person. We're certainly not going to stop and listen to this spirit, this other being that's contacting us from the other plane if we don't want to give time to our neighbor, you know?
right.
I just never understood the concept of vengeance after death.
Right.
I mean, though I guess all those instances, now that I'm thinking about it, those were all people that the ones that I know that became ghosts or the ones I'm thinking of are all people that were wronged in this life and were somehow trying to right it, right? Like there was some unfinished earthly business, right? That they had,
Maybe.
and that's why they had to avenge what had happened to them or at least expose that person or
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah,
Though
I
I
don't
feel like that doesn't even happen till hundreds of, I mean, how long do you write these ghosts? Are like talking about shit that happened in the 1800s.
right.
It's never like a
Definitely.
modern ghost. It's never just like a guy in khaki slacks who hung himself last fall in the basement who's just like, man, I feel like my wife was cheating on me. You want to find out? Like, it's not that. It's like, right? It's like some guy named Ebenezer who's got like a pea coat on and a patch on one eye, and he wants to tell you how he's only got one arm, and you gotta look for his golden arm. It's always some shit like that.
Right. Just let it go, man. Get
I
over it.
Yeah,
haven't.
it's like at what point does the ghost just say, "All right, it's 2024. When do I get some peace?"
Right.
The
Well,
guy who wronged me has long been fucking dead.
I don't know that they are like Mike Bob was saying. It's all it's all about love, right? So I think once you cross over, you realize the stupid little stuff that we get upset about down here. So I think any lingering feeling, if anything, would just be the humans here sensing some sort of guilt right? At the release of
Yeah.
that spirit.
Mm.
I
I
like
don't
that.
think a spirit is going to give a shit once they leave this plane.
Right.
I can't think this plane is a step up.
No.
Right. They're
But
not going to give
but
a
you know
fuck once they're gone.
there are people that have trouble letting go of being wronged,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's almost what the lesson ends up being in that is like once you've like ascend. You like whatever went on down here, we'll fucking figure it out, or it'll get, or if you really think you got something to add, Mr. Ghost, I guess you can try. But like at some point, when do you be like, oh my God, I'm just tired. I don't this all this woo flickering the lights on and off. This is bullshit.
I don't think they really do that. Do you think they go, ooh, I
No.
think that's the kind of stuff to
No,
me
I
that,
don't think that. I
Yeah.
think that though. I mean, I saw the movie Ghost. That's really the only insight I have into that world is Patrick Swayze. But when he was trying to learn how to, touch
yeah,
things, whatever, it made a whooshing sound. There were things he could do to show her that he was in the room at first before he learned to really move things and stuff. So, I mean, I liked that interpretation as to why we have those thoughts about ghosts
yeah.
and
I
their
think
presence
they're like
around us.
religion. It's a thing we created to help ourselves deal with things. We needed
Yes.
why does the sun come up? Why are we here? There's religion, and oh boy, hey, we can control people with religion too. But I just think
Mhm.
it's your own head, like your own where you're at, why you're being haunted. Like what are you guilty about that you're
Yeah.
sensing an
Haunting
energy
yourself.
and you're interpreting that in your mind as an evil energy from somewhere else. Why? I
Yeah.
don't.
That's the that's it
Yeah.
was that belief in that we're fighting ourselves, we're haunting ourselves so much so that the writers of the Bible created this whole character and they called him Satan. And that's just our own, that's just part of us, that part of us that
Yeah,
whispers and we created this whole thing. And so now everybody's scared of the devil. Look in the mirror. The devil is you. You can
Yeah.
right.
now my experience with my family members that I've seen after they've died, it's always been love. There's never
It's
been
always
a
been what?
moment love. There's been no
Love. Yeah.
fear, no sadness. It's
Yeah, I
nothing
was about to say
but
that all
love.
the encounters I've had with things that I felt were of a
Yeah.
spirit world or of another were all positive experiences. I've never
Yeah.
felt like, oh, there's a presence in this house that's scaring me. I've never, you know what I mean? I've never been that person, but it is at some point you have to be like, I mean, look, it keeps whether it's her or not, the fact that the things are lining up that are making me think of her, even if I'm doing it, whatever is says something also about my power and the power of my
Yes.
mind,
Right.
my
Yes.
consciousness and
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
things. So
What
it's
what
so
a great
much to
episode.
handle.
I
Yeah.
know. We just don't know. But we could always make shit up and we don't need facts anymore. That's the good thing about 2024 is we no longer are
No,
responsible
not
for
at all.
truth or facts. You just
No,
say whatever you want to say
it's
and
so insane, isn't it?
it's great.
Uh, Jenny McNulty, we thank you for joining us
I
here
thank you for
for the fun. This was
yeah.
amazing. I want you to know
Yeah.
that Jenny McNulty is going to be playing at the Fanatic Salon at the corner of Sawtell and Venice right here in Los Angeles. 2 Wednesdays this fall on September 28th and on October 22nd. If you are anywhere in the area near Los Angeles, don't walk, run to go see my friend Jenny McNulty. She's incredibly they're calling. That was good timing. You can find Jenny McNulty on the web, jennymcnulty.com, JENNIE. And McNulty is
Yes.
McNulty, jennymcnulty.com. We'll put it in our links and stuff, right, Mike? You'll take care of all
Oh
that.
yeah. Got that. Yeah.
Make sure folks know where to find Miss Jennie. Join us on the World Wide Webs. You can find out more about us, thebobpod.com. You can also join us on Instagram, see pictures of our delicious biscuits, fun from behind the scenes, video clips, and more. On Instagram, you can find us at the BOB Podcast, at the BOB Podcast. We would love to have you there as a follower. We have dozens and dozens of listeners, and we would love for you to join that growing number. We are having a ball every week as we tackle different genres of podcasts. Jennie Mcnulty with us this week. Jennie, thank you again. Go check out Jennie Fanatic Salon this fall, Wednesdays this fall, a lovely hump day extravaganza for you.
There you
go. Jennie, you're so funny. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Mike, as always, I appreciate your help here in the studio. I am Jen Kober. That's Jennie Mcnulty and Mike Brignac, and we are out.